Sketchettes. So I've gotten a couple of requests to do kind of like a walkthrough of how I made my Rey Staff. I've gotten a lot of people ask me how I went about doing it. So I decided to do this little walkthrough mini tutorial kind of thing. It doesn't really have any video or pictures from while I was making it, but I do go over how I went about making it. So hopefully it helps some of you guys out. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was draw out my Rey Staff. I did use the entire height of the paper to do so. And I just kind of looked at a picture of her staff and kind of guessed where the details would be and how far apart. I started with the handhold, the little leather grass piece, and I noticed that it's a little bit closer to the top than it is to the bottom, so it's not quite centered. So that's the first thing I did, was do that, and then I kind of worked out away from it towards the top and away from it towards the bottom to kind of add in all the details. After you have a sketch and you're happy with the sketch, you need to measure your sketch. So from the very top to the very bottom, you measure out your sketch, and mine happened to be 20 centimeters. Oops. No, I was off, sorry. 19.6 centimeters. Now I do all my props in centimeters because it's easier to convert, and it's easier to find point places. You know, 19.6 is very easy to find. It's 196 millimeters, whereas 3.4 inches is not quite easy to find. So I just find working with centimeters works better. And then you want to decide how big your actual staff is going to be. Now mine actually was determined by the stick that I bought. I went to the hardware store and they had a large dowel rod that just happened to be a pretty good height, and I measured that and it was 185.2 centimeters. So once you have your total height and your sketch height, you're going to want to use a calculator, and you're going to take your total height, which mine is 185.2, and you're going to divide it by your sketch height, which was 19.6, and that gives me a big long decimal number that I am rounding up to 9.45. So 9.45 is my multiple. Any measurement I take on my drawing, if I multiply it by 9.45, it will give me how big it needs to be on my actual staff. So what I did is I wanted to start with the hand grip. So I measured from the top of the hand grip to the very top of the staff, and I get 7.5. So if I multiply 7.5 by 9.45, it gives me 70.88 rounded up. So what you need to do on your actual staff is measure from the top down 70.88 centimeters and mark right there. That is the top of your hand grip. Do the same thing for the bottom. Measure from the bottom of the staff to the bottom of your hand grip, which was, looks like 11.1. Multiply that by 9.45 and use that number to measure up the staff and mark where your hand grip is. So what I did is, after I have my hand grip done, that kind of tells me where I need to start from. I then worked my way up doing all of those and marking it out on my staff. And there are raised bits, so you've got your leather grip. The next one is the piece of cloth, so you're just going to mark those two areas on your staff with little pencil marks, kind of like on my staff. I just went like this for the grip, and then out a little bit. Okay, here's where the cloth ends, and then I get to the actual detail. And so as I was doing my detail marks, some of these need to be raised, so any that need to be raised I put an X. So it would be not raised, raised, not raised, raised, not raised. That way I could come back through after I was completely done and add bits of foam to those areas. So to show you on my staff, here's the leather hand grip. Above that is the cloth. And then we have a piece that is not raised, raised, not raised, raised, not raised, raised, and etc. all the way up. Any raised parts you're going to use foam to raise them up off the dowel. Now there are some where it was this part here, ignore this for the moment. This part here is raised, and then this is raised even higher, and then this is raised, and then not raised. So one piece of foam, two pieces of foam, one piece of foam, no foam. And you're going to do that for all of your details. After you're happy with your detail parts, you're then going to use wood filler to fill in any seams. So like you can see some of the seams because I didn't do a very good job. But others, like right here, this blends really nicely. You can't really see that seam. This one here just kind of I didn't get as good. So you're going to use that to fill in the seams. And you're also going to use that because near the top you have this like cone effect. And I used wood filler to kind of fill up my gradations of foam to get this nice little wood effect, or get this nice coned looking effect. Once all of your filling is done, you're then going to prep the foam for painting by using some sort of glue wash, either Elmer's glue with a little bit of water, wood glue with a little bit of water, or Mod Podge, and you're going to seal your foam. Do a couple of layers of that so your foam doesn't just suck up your paint. Once the foam is prepped for paint, you're then going to paint the entire thing silver, some form of silver. After a couple coats of silver where it looks nice and you're not seeing the color of the foam underneath, you're then going to paint over the entire thing black. And the reason why I do it in this order is because then you're going to take some sandpaper and you're going to weather your staff along the, the raised edges and such, natural occurring weathering places, and that silver is going to pop up through and you'll get a black staff with some silver weathering. Once you're done weathering it, then you're going to go ahead and put your fabric on both places, and then I used your pleather on for your hand grip. For this one here, I actually took a piece of wax paper and wrapped it around and then kind of sketched out my idea. Basically, it's just a rectangle with a little extension. It kind of looks like a terribly drawn bunny here. And then you're going to put your snaps will go there, and you'll wrap it around to figure out where on here the snaps need to go. And I use wax paper because you can see and you're able to mark that stuff off a little bit better. I did use heavy duty snaps, however my fabric is not this pleather is not very strong, so I'm not going to undo this snap. You also want to make sure you're putting a little piece across the center to attach your D-ring so that it can attach to your shoulder strap. And the shoulder strap is just a long piece of rectangle. Basically I kind of figured out how long I wanted it to be and then just kept shortening it until it worked for what I needed. And let's attach it to here. This does come unattached just because hers does, but she always has it attached, so, and that gives you your little strap. Alright, that's it. Hopefully that made sense. If there's any parts of it that you have some confusion on, feel free to let me know down in the comments below or on any of my social media accounts. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. One of my New Year's resolutions this year is to make more videos, not only these little tutorials or walkthroughs, but other stuff as well. So if you have any suggestions for content, put that down in the comments below and I'll look at all of them and maybe choose a few of those to kind of add some more videos in here. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to see more little videos like this and who knows what else. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.